Happy gentlemen and welcome to Series Recap, our weekly show where we talk about everything going on in the last week in Series E. We'll be covering all of the action that we saw. My name is YNOT, host. I've got a couple of special guests joining me on the show that I'm excited to talk to, but we've got a ton of stuff to cover and do want to let you know we do have a very special announcement at the end of our show. You're definitely going to want to stick around for, so make sure you are here at the end of the show tonight. But for those of you that may be new, Series E across all different titles. We've got Halo Infinite, Guilty Gear Strive, and Apex Legends, okay? Now, the way you get in on all this fun is we have open qualifiers for each title. You come out, you play in the open qualifiers. The best players and teams from those qualifiers make it into Series E. Now, once you do that, you get drafted. You get signed by one of the partnered brands. You get a monthly contract, and you get to compete weekly for points and prize money. Now, if you and your friends want to get in on the fun, make sure to head over to matcherino.com/ESA for a shot at being a future Series E Pro. Now, of course, we've got all these guests to talk to. We're going to kick things off with some Apex Legends, so let's get Series Recap started.
And now we're seeing it once again, just like Game 2, slow down, but Fury
time and time again, and geez, they think they're winning it. Chances are they're winning it.
It gets thirsted by Zera Tricky as Hakio is going to come around the corner with the spray, and now it's just one player alive over here, and this was...
All right, folks, we're talking Apex Legends to start things off. Of course, Series E all began with Apex Legends, and we are in the heart of our 4th season right now. We just wrapped up week number 4. The action was very intense, and we also have to talk a little bit about week 3. We didn't get to do the show last week, so we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. The dominance of Vizio continues on open night, and we saw some new, fresh blood at the top of the leaderboard in week. So plenty of stuff to talk about, but let's check out how all of the action went down in week number 4.
What's up, guys? We are back, baby. Series E is here. We had a little bit of a break. You know, we had Christmas, had New Year's, had some stuff we had to take care of, but now it's time.
Roll of Theories. One quick move away from taking out the rest of Roll of Theory. Over the wall they go. A quick few pumps there, and that's going to be it for the rest of them. Now a 3v3 underway here. Lazarus v Vizio.
And Lazarus almost letting them actually heal up at the moment here, but now the engagement's coming in, and it looks like Lazarus is going to be going down. These 2 out of 3 players. Looks like that will be the final player alive, but Vizio coming out on top.
Just take them out.
Storm is coming in, as you said here, except now they want to drop down, actually put down the damage. 95 to the batteries flying up. However,
they are able to defend against it all. I gotta give them major props that they come out on top of this game there, because that is one of those moments that usually ends in your defeat. They do. There's only one remaining member here, in and out of the portal. TBA are your Game 3 champions.
Onto this beautiful high ground and getting this maximum value out of this damage. Eventually that flash comes in, so we're down to 3 squads. All 3 of them are full.
They gotta take the fight against one another here. It's gonna be a quick cleanup, but the damage is already dealt. Now Vizio smelling the blood against the ground here. Look to finish this one off, Cannon. That brings us down to 2 here. Vizio looking well. They've got to defend now against this quick third party.
Real quick, but good actually go down to the first one. She'll come to Grand. The Spitfire shots are starting to rain out here by our balcony. Going to go down immediately with Fury by himself. Utilize the Spitfire to crowd strafe is in. But
look to continue this one forward. Slow it down for a bit of some dome-on-dome action.
Was it the BB2 scenario? But coming out right behind them here. Flatline is dripping out. TBA are looking good. That red button is going to go down immediately.
More. Let's take a look here at our Mobile 1 leaderboard to settle it once and for all who came out on top. And, well, we had our hopes, but to no surprise, Team Vizio, they take number 1 3 straight weeks in a row. Till next time, make sure you're here tomorrow to watch the pros go at it as well.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to Series E Apex Legends Season 4. My name is Yeso.
Just a bit, but Zach Mason gets cracked, and now he needs to heal. Stay naughty in a 1v3 currently. Gets the knock onto Saucer, and he's still healthy here. He's got the scan and the beast of the hunt. He might successfully pull this 1v3 off, but he needs an armor swap here as he gets cracked. It's the bait and switch, though.
Completely on G2 there, and as a result, they're quickly punished. But G2, they know they're low. They're going to follow up on this one. You've got Designful over and out here from the crate, and the rest of the team finally arriving. Makes this one a quick.
Resulta goes down, and it looks like Matt Pickett successfully rat this one out, and now Complexity left in a 1v2 will.
From that initial fight, as a result, they pull the win off there and now have complete control of the area over Fissure. Complexity not as lucky this time around here. They might find some knocks, but they're pressured into a corner. Start a fight. Maybe they're looking to finish this one out. The Ash Portal deep here to shred through and find themselves to their victory in games. Gonna be able to get the full bat off in response, but quickly Chimchi to follow, coming up from the low ground. Phony is dropped down, but the rest of these squads now looking to collapse on this third party. As a result, there's no Excedrin here. Cloud9 still alive, but Team Liquid maybe looking to make this one back up as they come out from their carts finally and take the victory.
And Splash now having to drop down. Looks like the Nox gas grenade was committed into this fight as well, as Dracos will fall. It was a full 3-man beneath him, and now Splasher just out to Blight. Picks up one more kill, gets the armor swap, and now he's still alive. It's 3 teams remaining as Blight is going to try and rat this one out, but TBA, the only saving grace for TBA on the other side is that they've got the barrels down, and Sung is able to take out Petty Boss. Here comes Cody answering back. It's down to a 1v1 now. Cody doesn't have any armor, but he only needs that one shingles for themselves. You can see Vaxlon off to the side, slides it up and hits the 123. He almost got that crack, but he does not drop down quite yet. Still remaining patient until he drops down, misses that next shot, but the PK connects. Dracos will fall, and now Renegades just need to clean this up. It's only one member remaining, Blight, in a 1v3 here for Nestle Splash, but Renegades, they've got the armor swaps as well. They are playing this one immaculately to finish off the night with the dub. Team Renegades now chasing down their final prey. A big 72 with outstanding game number 2, and oh no, Renegades just 2 points off. Night though, it's Series E Open Night. Bringing you all the actions. Myself, Jamerson, along with Tom, T-Squared, Taylor. Tom, I missed you, buddy. How you doing? Their own Team Vizio are doing such a great job of keeping the teams and you can see focus fire, taxing the first one to fall in this 3-team affair, and it's all Vizio in the kill feed as they're trying their best to dance around these portals, but it's not going to be enough. Vizio,
I just don't know. I think it's going to be able to do this.
Vizio about to get the back-to-back victory once again. And it's just such a mastery, it's such a good understanding of how to play the final 5 squads, final 6 squads. They avoided this scramble here. They allow onto Splash, and they're helping out Team Excedrin on the other side of this one as a doubt from Blight answering back. That's a 1-for-2 exchange for Hardstuck T4s, but now they're taking so much ring damage. Team Excedrin are just gifted this final win. They just need to secure all the kills on the ground and do this correctly. Make sure that they get all the points possible because they were in 3rd place just before this. There we go. They finished off Rhino C. They need to secure the kills on the ground first, and
Sitting up there. Oh, does he get it off? He does. Perfectly executed. Now, with no barrels coming down, it's going to be all shots. However, they know exactly where they're going to go. Just Sung with the Brawler. He gets knocked right back on over towards Tech. It's coming down to Tech versus enemy for Excedrin. But oh no, Absent accidentally takes the portal. Somehow doesn't even take a tick of damage throughout all of that.
is he going to do it? No!
They're looking correctly at them and have the same exact thing happening. So it's up to Scissors to hit the shots. He's going to go for the crazy skyward play. I love this play. Can it work out? 3 squads left. Scissors could be going in for the win.
He just needs the melee. He just needs the melee. He is literally one-shot, but he doesn't realize it. He's trying to go for the wingman. There we go. Hits for the 9. How is he still alive? Dressa. Oh my goodness. Only Hector kill onto Team Intel. They've got this squad cornered as well. Phony hitting a quick armor swap there as Fury is just holding down the line in a 1v 1v1, but Vizio, let's check in with the Mobile 1 leaderboard to see who our top 2 teams are for the evening. Remember, $500 on the line, and it's Vizio walking away.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Series E. T Squared with no Cam, bringing you the action today with Zephyr. Zephyr, how you doing? Play here for TSM as they slowly start to make their way down there. Interesting that Hal decides to go with that. I mean, he still had about 10 seconds left on that time.
Either way, they'll fall. Now G2 quickly clean this one up. Third party find their way in here. First drop found on James. Mooney's coming outside, but it won't last here as G2.
Bubble versus Bubble. Shotguns out, ladies and gentlemen. It's a standoff.
Matt Pickett to the sky. Maybe he'll be shot down like a skeet shot here. In the back line, Jet to slide through. And G2, your champions, too.
Going to have time to go for the heal. You can see it's a 3-on-3 situation. The teams are already fighting, so he doesn't have time. Bubble is going to go down. Communication needs to be big time in the favor of Razor. It looks like they have this one under control. As Skittle Cakes is going to take 3v1 here for Sleepy Panda. Ring is going to be eating Gentrifying alive. Perez is coming in over towards the backhand side. Resulta not going to be able to get that one down, and it looks like G2's going to drop this one.
Looks like Bubble finally making their way in. C9 going to throw down the bubble. Start potentially the aggression off Valkyrie to the sky there. Punish that one with the bolt. Unable to get the full damage off. Has to go for the reload, but still falls either way. With the duplex there, Skittle Cakes already down. The majority of the Nobles roster still within play. They throw down their own down as Naughty will be punished. Zach Mazer as well here. Only 2 left standing, but it's from behind there. Just getting the last moments off.
Whoa, Impulse with a crazy play, and then all of a sudden Noble's over towards what a beast Impulse is. He's going to be staying up towards the high ground the entire time. Noble's probably going to end up trading out with X-Set, which means Nerf is going to be loving what they see. They're coming around for free, and there's still one player above, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to have to drop eventually. I love the kill on over towards the ground. Great presence of mind from Nerf.
That is a Mobile 1 leaderboard. See how the night finished in all its glory here.
Yeah, and it was a dominating performance from G2. It would have taken a massive performance from Nerf to catch up. They did their best. They went from second to second.
Well, there you have it, folks. Tons of action there in week 4 of Series E. Really just a packed schedule right now, and love to see teams continue to come out and impress. But let's start first, obviously talking about Team Vizio. Of course, they come into this week having won 3 open nights straight. They go into Tuesday night, and they were able to do the same thing there. The one interesting part, though, is that while we've seen them very consistently kind of front running, they build a huge lead. They're able to kind of see that through the back half of games and finish strong. We saw more of that for a bit on Tuesday night. Consistent play from them. They only won a single game compared to, I believe, the 4 that Team Vizio won on the night, but just being able to consistently get into those late circles, get into those top 5s, putting up kills in every single game, allowed Excedrin to stay in the mix for a very long time on that night. And this is why, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago in the last episode of Series Recap that I think Excedrin is a team to keep an eye on. They continue to do what I talked about and highlighted about this squad going into draft day from qualifiers. They're very consistent, even if they aren't going to get top placings super often, even if you don't necessarily buy into them grabbing a first place on a single night, they're going to put points on the board on a very consistent basis, and this is why they are currently sitting in second place in the standings, and they seem to be the squad that is the biggest threat for Team Vizio. Now, how big of a threat that is remains to be seen because Vizio just continues to win. Nobody has beat them in open night competition yet this season, and it remains to be seen whether it will happen anytime soon. You never know, 1 or 2 games don't go their way, and that can certainly shift the entire outlook of a single night of competition, but it just seems like Vizio is just too good at getting into those late circles, setting themselves up for success. Of course, Jamerson and I have talked at length about how they utilize that Loba composition to make sure that they are always well looted up and set up for these late circles, and they continue to put themselves in positions to succeed and then execute on that. Of course, Scissors has been a big part. The leading fragger in Series E so far this season, and obviously with a core Fury, and Phony behind somebody like Scissors, who's playing so well so far this season, you're going to success. And now, of course, again, and I mention this every single week, it is yet to quite translate into Pro Night success, but at the very least, Vizio is in first place with a sizable, and in the end, consistent Pro Night success isn't needed to win Series E. It's not needed to hold on to your sponsorship and stay in the league. So Vizio, at the very least, doing everything that they need to do right now to continue to put points on the board, to continue to win open night competitions and be one of the best we have ever seen in Series E. Now, Pro Night though. G2 take the victory on that night in a bit of a return to form. G2 has felt like that roster has been a bit quiet from a Series E perspective over the last couple of months, which is interesting when you compare to the G2 we saw at the start of Season 3. If you guys remember back at that time, I believe G2 won 3 of the first 4 Pro Night competitions in Season 3 of Series E. They were incredibly dominant. They had one night where they had over 100 points, and it felt like this past Wednesday was a bit of a return to form for the roster. G2 were getting into almost every single late game. They only lost, I believe, one game that they got into the top 3, and that was Game 4 when Nerf actually took them out and they finished in second place. So this was, again, a bit of a return to form for G2. That is, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous rosters in professional Apex when they are on their game. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about, it is an entire controller squad, but that roster incredibly talented and very, very scary when you get into those late circles. They are so good at executing on advantages, and it showed with the way that they played on Wednesday night. But the one team I really want to talk about here is Team Nerf, and I put together a graphic here. I want to look through some stats from Team Nerf so far this season as we kind of talk about this squad. Now, caveat here at the front, Nerf is not in the greatest place on the standings. I believe they sit in 5th place overall in the Series E leaderboard, and we will double check on that here in just a little bit. But look at these stats here. This is just for the season as a whole. 142 kills total. They average placement just below 10, and they have 9 top 5s. I believe 4 of those coming just from this past Wednesday night. They ended up winning a game on Wednesday. They finished second place overall, and a pretty sizable margin between themselves and the rest of the pack. It really was G2 and Nerf, and then quite a bit of a gap between the rest of the lobby. And Nerf was looking really good. Turns, of course, leading the team with 46 kills, and they are at this moment 49 points behind Excedrin, who holds control of second place on the Series E leaderboard. And while, you may look at the difference between second and 5th is so big, when you look at the amount of points that separate these two teams, it is not that way. Excedrin would be difficult for Nerf to close that gap, but it's starting to seem to me that Nerf might be the team to try and chase down Excedrin and then contend for that second place spot. But the question is where is this roster going to land? Of course, Turns announced on Twitter just the other day that they are in fact looking for a new third player. They competed with Sleepy Panda on Wednesday night, and Sleepy Panda was a contributor, had 19 kills on the night, but of course Sleepy Panda plays with RCO, so I would imagine we won't see Sleepy Panda joining this roster long in the challenge circuit to then hopefully qualify for the next split of the ALGS Pro League. So we'll have to see how it works out. But one thing that stood out to me is it feels like when Turns is able to not have to be the leading fragger, because largely if you look at last season on Splash and now so far what we've seen through this early part of Season 4 of Series E on Team Nerf, Turns has largely had to carry the fragging load for his teams. And it feels like, if you look at Wednesday night, a bit of a microcosm. If Turns does secondary role, I feel like he thrives better in that position, not having to be the one that is leaned on to deal the most damage, get the most kills, and kind of carry the squad. It feels like he is better suited for that role. So I'm very curious to see who they try to find to fill in that third slot. And I would say hopefully they find someone that can be that kind of leading fragger, can carry the load, take a bit of the pressure off turns, because I think he will thrive in that instance, and it will create the best team nerf. They still have a lot of a way to go, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on nerf over the few weeks. And Vizio have at the top of the Series E leaderboard, and we'll have to see how things shake out. But speaking of that leaderboard, let's bring it up right now. Just kind of check the state of everybody so far in Series E and where the teams stand. Of course, as you can see, these squads are fighting for that top 3 spot to hold on to their sponsorship return for next season. That is what is important first, but of course, first place, very, very significant for all of these squads. So we take a look at these standings. Vizio feeling very, very comfortable, almost a 200-point lead over Excedrin sits in second place. Nerf and Excedrin here. The competition very, very tight. Even going all the way down 6th place, that is only another 9 points, so that's 58 points between 2nd and 6th place. So while Vizio has pulled out very much ahead of the pack, 2nd to the rest of these are very, very close, have not separated themselves in any sort of significant fashion yet. So really, I would say nothing has been decided as of yet, other than likely if they can keep any near the pace that they have going right now. But the question is, who will come out of the fray in 2nd and 3rd place? I would say right now, my favorites, they were Intel and Excedrin a couple of weeks ago, but with what I saw from Nerf last night, and granted, it was only a single night of competition, but I think Nerf and Excedrin are teams to keep an eye on. Look and bring up our predictions here as we get ready to wrap up this Apex discussion, and I'm going to put it on the right now. I get the lucky honor of getting to make 2 predictions since my guest not joining the week, but as well. He was feeling a little under the weather this week, but we hope he is feeling better come next week. But let's put up the predictions. See, I get to pick twice. I get to hedge my bets here, and I'm going to do it on both of the teams I just mentioned. First one's going to be Excedrin, of course. They finished 2nd place on Tuesday night. They continue to be the definitive 2nd best team at the moment in Series, and I'm looking for them to continue that going into next week. I would love for the team that maybe finally unseats Vizio on a Tuesday night. I think right on being so won't be serious if it during their sponsored week next week. Huge opportunity for them. The other squad is, of course, Nerf, the other team that I really got to break down, kind of pull apart here on the show today. I think, again, if can find someone to fill in that 3rd spot that I think can be that leading fragger, take some of that pressure off of turns, or maybe, even if it's just more of a 1A, 1B kind of situation, I think that sets turns up to succeed even better. So I'm looking forward to Nerf finding that 3rd that can fill that role, and I think that if they can, they are a big bet this season. So keep an eye on Excedrin and Nerf going into Week 5 of Series E. Now that's going to do it for Apex Legends here. We're going to wrap things up on that part, but we've got Guilty Gear Strive to talk about. My good friend Charles is going to join me here in the studio momentarily to talk about that, but that's all for Apex. Let's go to Guilty Gear. One shot, now the future is yours.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true smart trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Get the balls to the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Excedrin.
I'm fading!
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast. Excedrin, game over for him.
Refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. Fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshing.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeso back here once again, and I've got a special guest joining me in the studio, former coach for working with Beast Coast. Charles, welcome back to the studio. Good to see you. It's been since draft. Been in here. No, it was the.
And I hope you guys got to do the same, like just spend some time with friends and family.
Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear you got to go home. How was the weather this time of year? Is it still
Fantastic.
pretty good? Yeah,
fantastic.
That's just not even fair.
Hawaii during the that's peak Hawaii. Right?
Very nice, very nice. Well, glad to have you back here on the mainland now, and of course we're talking Guilty Gear Strive. It's been honestly a really fun run through the first 4 weeks of competition. We had a very intense 16-man bracket last night. Let's check things last. Let's kick off week number 3 of Series E, Guilty Gear Strive.
Misses with the second 6H, was a little too far away. Gonna get slowed down by the BRC so Bean can actually get him for the throw and goes for the 6K, the overhead.
The DP, no sympathy, empathy for that DP. 6H and about to seal it. A lot of ball on the side. Wake up, Snooper! Lira doesn't get the hit. He's gonna stay solid. Oh my God.
I can't believe Otashi was able to jump in time, but here we go. Both of them down to pixels.
What's gonna happen if you get hit? It's gonna be a wrap. Put up on a whip punch just like that. Shoot us some of these buttons. Only has one sword. Brings it back. Okay, 6K.
And we go straight for the pressure. Too far away for the throw. Oh no. And I think Shine was trying to bait out a burst. No pressure. Command grab. How much death is that? Not quite dead.
That is a risky weapon for all, especially when you got a big boy character like Leo. Swinging off the heavies and trash and things like that.
I love this. Look at this. He's just
Trying to come through. This one's getting to apply a lot of pressure, but this is Nago though. Matchups may not apply, he lands the damage. And that's what's happening right here as he dumps it out. But on the side of him, the dash up Shark Week, a fantastic option from this character. You keep him locked down, make him look like a clown, and that almost is the round. One touch. Never mind, it's over. Full flash, stagger stepping, finds a full conversion, and a 6H into the super. This one's definitely going to hurt. And this right here again is Bean going in red RC, stagger stepping, alpha plate, off the backboard again, about to be the win. He's got the bar. It's over. The super situation from Bean. This should seal it. Oh no, James!
Not quite. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. Watch how much life Chip is losing. Ah, okay. One more pop buster and it's in. He went for it.
He gets this. We want the feed, the counter situation. Dash up. Reckless red. RC. You keep the pressure with the throw. Reset. Gamma blade plus frames. Don't press the damn button. Oh, never mind. He's over the door. That's Steve Johnson. That's his like anthem right here. That's his, you don't need it right here. The burst off the table. Help him.
Oh yeah, didn't catch him in time. Didn't catch him in time. But Hotashi's looking strong here. Oh, gets him with the 5K. There we go. Into the corner.
Like this.
Big damage into the blood burst.
Close slash. Yeah, of course. This is the setup. 5K 2S. Jump in. All he needs is like a few good touches to get that win. Knight just needs a super midnight stack from Count Black. Meaty auto zone with the clone. 6H and that's gonna seal it. Moist Hotashi takes it from winner's side for this week's Series E Guilty Gear Strive.
All right, everybody, can you all hear this? This is time for some Series E Guilty Gear action presented by Esports Arena. And to be able to get that pressure going, Apology Man does have a burst. He faints it out. He faints it out. This will probably do it for Punk with the wall splat.
Ball. Look at that. Okay, gets the knockdown. Okay, this is the floor night. They put the mix on him. Yo, caught that backdash. You won't last. That's so smart. But gets the knockdown 2D. Oh, 6K. Red RC. Yo, Bean. Talk to me. 7-point Bean. Winners finals against Jonathan to the Bean at the top spot. Eight grandpas. Oh, no. Commentator's curse. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get that.
Oh, no. He dropped the combo.
Oh, what the
side switch. Didn't get the combo off of the 2D. Gets the throw. DRC trying to bait the burst out. Okay, jumped over the double sword.
What the throw?
Both of these players right now are taking into into account 10 meters at the same time. Got life, burst, risk, minions, and super meters on both sides to the minion. He's showing, see, just like that right there. He's showing that he's willing to drop the minion even when Bean is a screen away so that Bean can't just run up for free.
One of the bigger benefits of that too is just, oh no, you're definitely dead. As he got the read, Bean put the sarcophagus. He needs to get one of the minions in play to just keep it all day. Look at that plus rings. Had to dash out. He and the sarcophagus once again. Close it.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! The red!
What?
Reset point on the verge!
Yeah, he just needs to get one more hit at this point. Trying to bait out the burst, but Adventure holding on to it. Okay, but you're getting tossed here. One more throw is going to kill you. The YRC, he baited it, but he didn't punish it in time. The commando should be able to do it, though.
Forget the kid. What's going on in Bean's mind, but it's a good one-touch situation right here. If Adventure can land a solid conversion, all the kids out in play, he's coming through today. You jump, kid. Oh, you jump again. Adventure, let's get a full sequence.
YRC, nice job right there. Gets the knockdown. Chip damage is a threat. This is trouble. Right now, he's just burning all of that meter on faultless defense. Manages to get out, but then runs into the air fireball. And no throw this time. Uh-oh. But see, here's the dangerous thing about that mix-up. You see, he got that mix-up and then got immediately bursted. And so now he's in the corner. Again, there's that power of just having that burst to be able to put the opponent. Oh, this is probably going to be dead because this is going to hurt. He's going to get the wall splat, and that, no, it's not enough to kill. Never mind. Never mind. Even everybody in the chat thought it was going to kill. Oh, he just did it. He just did it.
What a god. Beam.
Double overhead back to back. He's at tournament point. Adventure needs to win this to stay alive, and this is a good start. You got him trapped here. He's got to deal with minions now.
Back to way to get a full conversion play though. Let's go Adventure with a bad lead. PRC. If Bean come back from the brink like that, he's never going to be a damn demon. But I don't think it's like that. Adventure still got the lead. Bean. What type of beast are you? What type of beast are you, Bean? Off the backboard. Give me that bar. This is good for me. Get that bar going. But still, this is a long road. Yeah, nice anti right there. Counter hit. Minions in play. Fight.
Oh, he tried to go for the air throw again. Fates out! Oh my gosh! Can he do this? Can he get the comeback? Is he gonna kill? No, probably not. He's gonna be just shy. Yeah, here we go. The pixel
Session 6K! Bean takes it! Of all things, James, the 6K!
Couple of weeks of awesome action there in Series E. Guilty Gear. Of course, Charles and I back to talk about all of it. Just off the top there from that highlight reel and what we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
For me, the consistency from Bean has been really sick to watch. Chip is a character that got nerfed, and Bean's still out here, showing how messed up the character can be. All the different mixes, the left, rights, the high lows, and I really had a lot of fun watching Adventure's Jacko tear through losers.
Yeah,
that's always a treat. And I mean, Adventure getting to grand finals, that was really like a not an everyday kind of matchup for grand finals. So seeing the Chip Jacko matchup was really fun. And even that first set especially was just down to the wire, game 5, you know what I mean? It was sick.
Yeah, Bean, of course, turned it around, though, goes into the reset and just 3-0s. Seems like some sort of switch went off after just, because that last game 5 was incredibly close, and something changed there for Bean and very much turned it around. I do want to talk about that, though, because Bean, first time in the Thursday night bracket was last week, came off of winning Wednesday night fights a week ago, comes in last week, finishes 3rd place, now comes in this week, wins it all. And then you talk about Adventure as well. You want to talk about consistency there. Has yet to finish outside of top 8 in the 4 weeks of these brackets. 5th, 6th the first week around.
Right.
3rd place in week 2. 7th, 8th last week was definitely a bit of a down week for Adventure, but then obviously comes in and grabs 2nd place last night. So both of these players, very good placings, consistently performing well, and they I agree, have been a pleasure to watch. I'm really that Bean has jumped into the mix because it really feels like this is a player that nobody really wants to run into in the bracket. I mean, you look last night, and that is a who's who of great players in our brackets.
Oh yeah, these brackets are so stacked. Like even shout out to Apology Man, they bracket. Definitely rooting for the Beast Coast boys, but
yes,
you know these brackets are so stacked. Even like when you watch round one, it was like LK versus Punk round one winners, which is like really wild in terms of rounds. Obviously it's a 16-man invitational, so you're gonna get really stacked matches right off the rip like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, even like just the general character diversity we have within the tournament, right? It almost feels like getting a good amount of the character pool, and that really goes how like balanced it seems. You know, like in terms of like character variety, we get a good amount of it.
Yeah, and it makes interesting. So the mix-up is definitely good. Of course, we get Idiosyncrasy and Hotashi bringing out the Naga. We got our pot main with Shine in the bracket. So I think character diversity is definitely well represented across the bracket. One thing I do want to highlight, and I talked about it on the show last night, and it's the #1 seed curse in the bracket. And coming into last night, our seeds were 6 in sets, with Hotashi going 1 and 2 last night. Now our #1 seeds, which have been Punk, K and Hotashi, active 3. That not just stand as further evidence of how stacked these brackets are, that you can have players of this caliber in that first seed and still there's no guarantee you're going to go deep in a bracket from that spot, because you're just going to run into talented player after talented player.
Yeah, round one, you're fighting for your life. There's no way into like the hard part of the bracket. So I mean, that just goes to show how stacked the tournament is. Just like have even like, I think round 2 or round 1 of winners, but it was like game 5 really close. That was like one of my favorite sets of the tournament as well. So yeah, I mean, just seeing all these different players play all these different characters is such a watch. And even for me, Tene has been really like sticking out for me. The Zato's really fun. Obviously Zato got long, but I like the combination, right? And I feel like that's something that in previous Guilty Gears you couldn't really do too much, because the skill floor is pretty more like Tene is going with the Soul and the Zato, obviously, right? So
and it's really, if you look at like the Series E pros, it's round 1 Tene, right? Shine, you're always Potemkin. Idiosyncrasy, you're always going to get the Nago, but it's really Razzo and Tene that are willing to mix it up, and we saw it all throughout the bracket tonight to see playing. So that's awesome to see. You really love to see, and finish third. So another showing from Jonathan. I do want to pull up this. Things finished off in the bracket last night. So there it is, up on your screen right now. Of course, we discussed Bean and it getting into grand finals, Bean winning after the reset with the 3-0. But you want to talk about a stacked bracket? I mean, Super Noon going through losers was really fun. Obviously, taking out Idiosyncrasy and Lord Knight to get all the way into top 4 and then falling to Adventure. And I would say a site that we aren't used to is Shine not making top recently into but back last night and gets 3-0'd there in losers quarterfinals. That was definitely a surprise for me.
Yeah, I guess if the pot can't get in on the Jacko, and Jacko is a very interesting, I mean, not something you see every day.
Sure.
So I mean, I'm definitely still learning a lot about the character, but man, it definitely seems like pressure glass. I see a lot, or I see Adventure use a lot of meter just to get out of the corner, or it doesn't feel like you need to use too much of your corner pressure to minions, especially at that.
You're gonna
Sometimes I just watch, and it's like, even if they block everything, the amount of chip Adventure does to them just from the install activating when it's out, it's like, it's so much damage. And we see a lot of the, I think to me, one of the more interesting things is to see how a player, because like conversion and stuff are not like exactly one, but how you use your meter in Guilty Gear, I think you can be very creative. There's all the different moment cancels and stuff like that. How kind of prioritize in the corner. I just have base game mechanics, right? So it's like using the blue RC to go up and over is a big deal, right? And then once you get up and over, once you can establish your corner pressure, where he's going to be winning.
Yeah, honestly, Adventure just really continues to impress. Has been, honestly, I would say my favorite non-Series E player. And again, consistent top placings, hasn't finished outside of top 8. Bean as well, already mentioned him, has come in, really made so got the buffs. Is anybody else going to pick it up? We're going to see maybe more of those two character mains come out. It'll be a curious storyline to follow as the season continues. But as we get closer, we want to pull up our standings right now. Of course, all the Series E players are battling it out to not only win Series E, but hold on to their sponsorship and get invited to return next season to play in qualifiers. So as you can see on your screen right now, the current state of the standings, no big surprise that Shine is at the top. Has been, I would say, the pack. 10A has definitely closed that gap over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. 10A getting third here was a huge deal, right? So just coming through, and it's always fun to watch Zato, and it's hard for other, in my opinion, Zato's like one of the characters that are a little harder to pick up, kind of like you're micromanaging like your character, right? Like Jacko, right? So it's a treat to watch Jonathan come through with the Zato, and man, Zato has some pretty messed up stuff. Oh man, it's always like space a lot of your moves around just hitting Eddie and stuff like that, right? So always fun to see, and even having Soul for, I mean, so did as the game came out, and yeah, it's also really funny too that when you're watching Jonathan play, it's on Apology Man's account, or at least for this time, because they're at Jonathan was at Apology Man's house. So that's always funny. I was like, when you're watching these streams, it's fun to always listen to commentary, but you can Apology Man as well. So it's really cool to bounce around and get like the different POVs, you know.
Do you get excited to see a Faust in the kit? Because I know like we have a couple people in production, like Justin's out there, big Faust fan. Obviously we love the character diversity. Is there anything specifically about Faust when you see Apology Man in the bracket that you're like, oh, this is exciting? Is it just general character diversity out to you?
Faust is always interesting because the items are random, right? I think you can be really creative with the strategies. Faust has to also, I mean, definitely some buffs. Cool to see like some of these buffed characters come through, right? And Apology Man, even with the not buffed Faust, was able to get like 9th at Evo, right? So still, character you have to regardless, and you know, Guilty Gear, especially a game of matchups, right? So you know, some matchups Faust can do really well, and then those other matchups where he has to deal with like a bunch of mobility, he can be really gets hit for a lot of damage. Like Soul just hits him once and just obliterates him. So it's always a treat to watch though, because there a bunch of weapons can happen.
I couldn't agree more. Here. At the end of week 2, I was had my eyes on Dawn from Team Razor. Of course, did win the Wednesday Night Fights bracket this week, but struggled a little bit in the overall bracket. Alex Valle had his eyes on Razo. Who is the standout for you? Is it 10A? Do you maybe see Solstice coming up? Who's kind of one you got your...
So I'm a little biased because Jonathan 10A is NorCal. So
sure.
I'm definitely a fan, and you know, obviously a training partner. So is for John, and transition into the Zato, right? So now that they're it feels like they're getting the groove with the Zato, and the Zato is really coming through, taking a lot of waves, and also that soul backup as well. I just feel like Jonathan is finally in their comfort zone, and they're coming out strong.
I actually am going to have to completely agree. And really impressed with Jonathan over the last couple of weeks. I was really expecting more in the first weeks ended 2021. In his comeback and really impressed so far. Really love what we saw from him last night. Of course, getting up into third place. A lot of very entertaining stuff. I enjoy watching this, and I think it's interesting to see people deal with that matchup because it seems like it's just not as common, right? And bringing that kind of surprise factor in is very interesting. So I've got my Jonathan Tene as well. So we'll have to see how things shake up next week during play. But Charles, thank you so much for coming to hang out. I always appreciate the insight. I look forward to meeting my friend. Following you.
On Twitter, you can check me out at CharlesThoren _ and then Charles Thoren on everything else.
All right. Go support my man. We are going to go to a quick break. I'm back, though. I got Tony joining me to talk about some Halo Infinite. And remember, we've got a very special announcement at the end of the show, so don't go anywhere.
his favor. It just gets dwindled down to United 1.
I just have to point it out. Snakebite gonna come out on top, and now the damage has been done. Chi-Chu's on their back.
The series to go the distance, and that means Optic Gaming needs to wake up, and it appears that they've started to do so.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeso here, joined by my very good friend Tony. And Tony, you know what? I don't think I can do your introduction service, so I'm just going to hand it off to you, my man.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Casting, and I'm kind of a freaking big deal. If you don't know, now you know.
Now I do know, my friend. It's good to hear your voice again. It's been a little too long. Of course, we've been on a break from the Halo Infinite stuff since the 25K, but we're in the new year, and we've got honestly a lot to talk about here. But I do have to ask you at the front: how were your holidays, my friend? How did you welcome in the new year?
What holidays? There was holidays. Yeah. I have no idea. I've been working nonstop. I don't know what holidays you're talking about it, but I haven't stopped grinding. The grind don't stop.
Right. You know what? Hey, I respect it. I'm not surprised. I know you're a grinder, Tony, but I'm glad you're at least enjoying yourself. I know the work is a good time. It's keeping you busy for sure, so I appreciate that. But we're gonna go a little bit back in time because again, it's been a while since we've gotten to talk Halo together. So I want to go back to Raleigh. Of course, this was big for a lot of reasons. It was the first Halo Infinite LAN. It was your first LAN as a caster. And, you know, before we get into the weeds about the play that we got to see, I have to ask just you about your experience going to Raleigh.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it was the most incredible experience of my life, you know, coming I was never the best gamer out there. I've always been a competitor, but never been able to break into like a championship bracket. But I literally walked around Raleigh like a freaking celebrity. Like literally every few seconds, somebody was coming up to me like they knew me. It was the feeling was indescribable. And when you're in that venue, especially with like the whole venue being Halo centric, it was insane. I remember I went to DreamHack 2019, and that was great. But Halo was like stuck in like the corner, like of like this giant convention, like almost like hiding. And then like Raleigh was all Halo. And let me tell you, when I was in the back casting, and there was a big play that was on the main stage, the roar of the crowd literally shake the room to I'm the point where I'm literally I'm hundreds of feet away and I can feel the room shake when Optic gets that big kill or when Cloud9 ends up getting that triple kill that Renegade got. Like literally the whole entire venue shook, and it was amazing. It really was on another level.
I'm glad, my man. It was certainly a joy to get to watch you, and of course, our very good mutual friend Shyway. For me, it was surreal to see you both in a room together, casting together. Right? I'm so used to watching, see you guys on the screen, seeing that in that nice little 2-box. You're both in your rooms, in your comfy setups, ready to cast. But it was for me opening up the stream and seeing you both being able to shake hands, bump shoulders, get hyped together in the same room was so satisfying for me. And it really felt like, of course the journey has only just begun, but it felt like such the perfect payoff for both of you for all the work that you guys have put in. So really, I do want to congratulate you both once again. Of course, I know I sent you guys a DM on Twitter, when everything was going on, but really it was a blast to watch you guys and so well deserved. I can't wait to see what's next. But let's get into the weeds a little bit of the games, and then we've got to talk HCS Pro Series as well, of course, because there's been plenty of Halo action going on since Raleigh ended. But let's just do a quick run through what we saw at Raleigh, because this was the definitive start of Halo Infinite competitive. Of course, Cloud9 won it all. They took down United in the grand finals, but it really felt like the match of the tournament was on the B stream with you and Shyway talking about Sentinels and FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, the winners bracket was great. I don't know how much time I have, so I'm trying to be as quick as possible with it.
No. Hey, you got time, my man. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. We're on my time right now. Let's go.
Okay, well, right off the rip, Cloud9 taking down Optic, the number 1 seeded team, when Sentinels ultimately had to fight through the open bracket due to World 2 being ineligible. That was a big win, and right off the bat, considered an upset because Optic number 1 seeded team, and largely people had them winning the entire tournament. Right under that, Exit 2-1 an unsigned talent. Unsigned talent literally have been through the ringer. Like they had to prove themselves throughout the open bracket, which they did. They made it out. They had their twin brothers Suppressed and Avenue teaming together alongside Aperture and Flazen. Right off the rip, Flazen gets stolen and pushed onto SSG, and then Suppressed gets stolen by Exit, the team that beat them in the first round of this winners bracket. So I feel bad. Unsigned talent keep losing members, but somehow they still keep making it out of the open and into Pro Series, which is really good for them. Underneath, you have FaZe going up against this says Fnatic here, so it looks like this is actually our Pro Series. This is the Pro Series too. Yes, FaZe versus Fnatic,
and we can talk about that. Get into it.
Yeah, that former Team War roster, that was a big win from them, and Fnatic. They got a lot to prove. They just got signed. Fnatic, they waited to make some moves. They finally signed Team War, which is Envoy, Septify, Super CC, and Jazero. Now, Super CC was literally dropped from Pioneers. They stole Fnatic's Manny, but it was one of those roster moves that worked out well for both of the teams, because they both had their best placing right after a roster change. So usually a roster change works really well for one team. This case, it worked really well for both of them. United coming out with a 2-1 win versus Pioneers. Pioneers, the ultimate underdogs. United kind of in that same spot. Whenever United go against one of the big three, people seem to count them out for some reason, but they are a top team, and they're looking to prove that. Cloud9 beating Exit, not really much of a surprise. FaZe taking down United. That was a really good matchup, actually. I really enjoyed that one, especially because you have, Snipe Down and Spartan used to team together, along with Boo Boo Doo, and then Spartan and Boo Boo Doo dropped Spartan. I'm sorry, excuse me. Snipe Down and Boo Boo Doo dropped Spartan, and it was really funny because in the losers bracket, after United beat FaZe, Spartan stands up, looks at Snipe Down and Boo Boo Doo and says, "You're gonna drop me? You're gonna drop me?" So that was really funny. That was actually at Raleigh. And then Cloud9 3-1ing FaZe, which we started to find out ever since Raleigh. Cloud9 are the real deal. Optic may have came into Raleigh as the number 1 seed, but I promise you, Cloud9 are quickly becoming an early dynasty, taking Raleigh, taking both of the Pro Series, and looking good while doing it. As you see in the grand finals, Cloud9 end up going up against Optic here in the Pro Series. Optic, they struggled last week. They ended up getting knocked out in 12th place by SSG, which is a good roster, but, Optic is a former number 1 seed. Optic, in my opinion, really needed a showing in this week's tournament, and I'm glad they were able to make it to grand finals. However, they were able to take one game off of Cloud9 in the quarterfinals in a best of 3, and sadly, even in a best of 5, though, in the grand finals, they weren't able to take a single game, showing how dominant Cloud9 are. Let me tell you, Renegade and Stellar are the real deal. Eco, high IQ player, and Penguin is an objective player extraordinaire and so hard to deal with on the map. Cloud9 are going to be good for a very long time.
They definitely are. And I do want to dig into a little bit more of kind of the overarching storyline too, because it was something that actually our good friend Shimonahi and I talked about on our latest episode of Eat, Speak, Compete. And it's the fact that, Cloud9 is dominating so far, but it really felt like, and you kind of touched on it a little bit there earlier, going into Raleigh, it felt like it was, Optic or Sentinels, it was going to be those two. Even with the roster issues that Sentinels had to deal with going into Raleigh, it still felt like they're bringing in formal. This roster is going to be disgusting. Of course, they proved that they still were, but it felt like it was, 1A, 1B, Optic, and Sentinels, put them in whatever order you want. And then, of course, Raleigh went very differently. Cloud9 comes in. United looked really impressive. FaZe looked really good, but Cloud9 gets the win. And now you mentioned they've come out and now won both Pro Series after. So do you feel like Cloud9 was getting just too heavily underrated going into Halo Infinite, and people were just underestimating how strong this roster was going to be to kick things off. Because you want to talk about you're building the dynasty, they are laying the groundwork for a Cloud9 era to kick off Halo Infinite.
I think in the first two Pro Series, Cloud9 ended up getting second place, which was huge. And I think in the third one, in the qualifiers of the Pro Series, the online qualifier leading to Raleigh, Cloud9 got second place twice. And then in the third one, they might have fell off, so maybe people might have forgotten about them. Mm-hmm. Once Sentinels had Royal 2 be ineligible, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anything that Sentinels did really didn't matter much. I mean, Formal was a phenomenal player, but Royal 2 has been teaming with them for years, decades now. It almost feels like. So Royal 2 is an irreplaceable piece. So I wasn't really too worried about what Sentinels were going to do, just because they weren't fully loaded. Now, come January 29th, when Sentinels, who have been scrimming with Royal 2, come back in full force, I want to see what that team is able to do and how it creates a shakeup, especially because Sentinels were the number 1 seed. But then obviously once Royal 2 became ineligible, they lost their seeding, had to fight through the open bracket. And I know nobody wants to talk about seeding. There's this narrative where, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. I promise you, seeding matters. Maybe not for first place, but going from third, fourth, fifth, and to find those power rankings going forward, seeding is going to be very important. There's usually a strong side of the bracket, and there's usually a slightly weaker side. Usually, you want to be on the slightly weaker side. So, I think Cloud9, maybe in that final qualifier, not making it to grand finals, people might have forgot about them. But I don't want to say they were slept on, because they did get second place in the first two qualifiers. So they seemingly came out of nowhere, but trust me, they belong here, and they will be for a long time.
Yeah, and they've definitely made statements so far. The Raleigh win, Pro Series, they're looking good. They're absolutely tearing it up. Shout out to, of course, our friend Clutch as well. He had a great tweet last night going into grand finals. I think he was on the Optic train, and I don't think things quite worked out for him with the way that Pro Series played out there. But we do love Clutch, and awesome to hear from him. I do want to ask you for a bit of a bold prediction here. I challenged Luke in our episode of the podcast last week for a hot take coming into the year. And the hot take that I had was, I think FaZe will win a Halo Infinite major this year in 2022. I actually think that roster is very, very close to being a top contender if they aren't already there. Is that, do you think that's a hot enough take? You got a hotter one for me? What are you thinking in 2022 for Halo Infinite?
You know what? I'm going to answer that, but give me 1 second.
Okay. Oh. And yeah! There it is. I think Tony's on the same boat as me.
That's better. All eyes are on FaZe right now. They overperformed in Raleigh. They've been on paper. They were a top 8 seed and even stuck into the top 6 in qualifiers. However, they were able to really push themselves into that top 3 placing, and FaZe really stepped up. Let me tell you something. You're wearing that G2 jersey. Snipe Down did not come over from Apex here when he was rival. TSM, they were rivals with G2. They were fighting for that number 1 spot in Apex. And let me tell you, for a while, TSM were on top, and they were kind of poised to be on top again. Snipe Down did not come over to Halo to be top 6, top 8. He came for championships. And I want to say, all eyes on FaZe. They will win a tournament. Watch out, because they keep getting better. You're talking about Bound. The movement that Bound has is absolutely ridiculous. He has mastered this game. Falcated, low-key, was my MVP of the tournament, at least like the breakout player of the tournament, because he, every time he was on screen and they needed a play to be made, Falcated was going off. He was top slaying over and over again. And then you have Snipe Down, where just like he says in Apex, same thing in Halo, if you unleash Snipe Down, he's that type of player that can come out of nowhere, take those 1v2 gunfights, come out on top, and even put damage on a third player while he's staying alive. The things he opens up, the alleys he opens up for the rest of the team is irreplaceable. So watch out for FaZe.
I'm hyped. I'm all on the FaZe Clan hype train in Halo Infinite. Of course, you got Tony repping the jersey here. I'm all about it. I'm going to have to get me one myself. We got to replace this G2 jersey because I'm on the FaZe Clan hype train. So I'm super psyched about that. Of course, Tony, I'm excited to have you here. We talked a lot about Raleigh. We talked a little bit of Pro Series, but we got to talk about Series E right now because we have a very special announcement for everybody watching, all you Halo Infinite fans out there. Of course, Tony and I have spent a lot of time on Halo shows for Esports Arena. So we're going to bring a little something up for you guys at home to check out. Of course, we've been talking about Series E, but we have finally got dates set in stone for the first season of Series E Halo Infinite. As you can see on your screen right now, qualifiers will kick off at the end of this month, January 31st and February 7th for qualifiers, and then the season kicks off at the end of February. Tony, obviously, we've been working towards this here at Esports Arena for a while. How hyped are you to finally kick things off?
It's amazing. It feels so good. Let me tell you guys something. I'm not just saying this because I'm signed by Esports Arena. Series E is one of the most important things as far as in esports. It is so necessary, and it's phenomenal. Just low key. We know the pros. We know FaZe, we know G2, we know Cloud9, but there's some really good unsigned talent out there right now who are phenomenal players and are really the second coming. And to come into have a semi-professional league, to get yourself to be able to earn a salary, to go up against every week against your same competition, and then on top of that, maybe go up against the pros as well. That is invaluable. And maybe, just like we saw unsigned talent, if you have talent, you will get signed. You will get poached. Flazen poached right from SSG. The very next week, Suppress gets stolen by Eggset. Come in here, prove that you have what it takes. Show us what you got. Mouse and keyboard, controller, console, PC. Shoot, whip out the freaking Rock Band drums or whatever it is that you play on. Come in and show us what you got, because I promise you'll find a home and you will be satisfied. I can't wait to cast over some of our up-and-coming talent. Series E is here. It's in Halo, and I couldn't be more hyped.
I'm hyped as well. Again, guys, if you didn't see the dates there, January 31st, February 7th, those are the qualifier dates for Season 1. If you guys need more information, by the way, head over to matcherino.com/ESA, or if you follow us on Twitter, we should have just tweeted out a link that's going to have a blog post that's going to have all the information, all the details you need on how are the qualifiers going to work, what exactly goes on when you jump in to Series E, what does it all involve. So check us out on Twitter at Esports Arena, or head over to matcherino.com/ESA. That's it for Series E Halo Infinite. Tony, it's been a pleasure to get to talk to you again, see you on the screen. It's always a joy to get to break down some Halo Infinite with you, my friend. Do want to give you the opportunity, please shout out where can people follow you, check you out, and see what you're doing right now.
Best stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/YNOT_B_casting. Best POV, funniest guy, most handsome. We give away cars on stream as well. So make sure you hop into the Twitter as well. We're approaching 4K followers on Twitter. So twitter.com/YNOT_B_reckless. So I throw you off guard with that one. But Twitter and Twitch are really where you can find me most. I stream every day, 9 o'clock in the morning, usually about 1 p.m. afternoon, and we get lit, I promise you. And obviously you can find me right here in Esports Arena, baby. We signed. I got the contract. So I ain't going nowhere, okay? I'm mad you're not gonna let me sit on the couch. You're gonna make me come into this tube box again. You're not gonna let me sit on the couch, but you know what? It's fine, because you're not getting rid of me. I'm here. Hey, I am Halo Esports.
I'm going to get you on that couch in person, my friend. I'm telling you, we're going to make it happen. We're going to get you in this studio physically. I promise you that. We'll make it happen this year. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. That's going to do it, folks, though, for Series Recap. Ton of stuff we had to cover this week. We'll be back again next week. Do want to remind you guys, we're kicking off Week 5 of the Series E season. We got Apex on Tuesday and Wednesday. Hey, you may even see Tony on there, too. Who knows? That's 4 o'clock Pacific time. And we got Guilty Gear again on Thursday. And, of course, back with Series Recap on Friday. Folks, for myself, for Tony, the entire live broadcast crew, everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next time.